How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to Muv-Luv Monday. Back to the day after. So we're in the Unlimited universe. Some pretty crazy stuff went down, and we're going to be apparently getting a little bit more information, probably mostly about what the Knives missions are going to be entailing. Specifically, now that they've got their new replacement member, now they're up to 3. The world's kind of in trouble, but I suppose we got something we're going to be doing with our time, so let's see what that is all about. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you spending your time. Hopefully you'll stick around and keep enjoying these series with me. Let's get jumping right in, shall we? Alright, so she'll explain the situation yesterday.
はい。本日は機体の稼働状況やタイの現状についてご説明いただくと伺っています。
よしよし。じゃあまず機体状況の方から行くよ。昨日も言ったと思うけどね、今 JFK に積まれてる機体は私らマリーン機と、それからもちろん本来の海軍母艦戦術機団のものさ。
Gotcha. Well, they're all incorporated now, so it doesn't really matter a whole bunch, right?
JFK の艦載機定数は18機。ブルーオーシャン発動時にはうちらの機体を合わせて22機。
That is a healthy amount.
予備スペースを利用し、艦載ヘリ2機と合わせて全機格納庫内に収納した。
A Nimitz-class carrier can store more machines, but that's because they were designed to carry TSS from the get-go. Enterprise-class ships or aircraft carriers had been retrofitted to serve as TSF carriers, so this is the best we could do.
で、今はマリーンの単座が3機、ネイビーの複座が9機、合わせて12機が稼働状態にある。
Dang. So they lost 10 TSFs in the wave. I mean, honestly, maybe we should just be impressed that they actually have 12 operating TSFs.
損傷機の内訳は、修理不可能機が5機、要修理機が3機。
Okay, so 5 are FUBAR, and 3 need repair. That's only 8, so 2 of them just maybe they went overboard?
まあ、整備班の連中がだいぶやられちまったからね。稼働機を維持するのが限界さ。
Right.
注意。12機と8機で、あと2機計算が合いませんが。
その2機は今頃太平洋の底だよ。まったく、大高い魚の住処だね。
Dang.
昨日の艦長の話にもあったろ。大解放の時に係留が外れちまったのさ。今言った損傷機も整備班の連中も兵士もかなりの数がその時にやられたのさ。
Great Ocean Collapse. Where did the water go?
ハンガーを跳ね回って最後にはシャッターをぶち破ったからな。思い出したくもないよ。
Yeah, that would be a horrible way to go. Well, it'd likely be quick, but terrifying.
了解しました。
Yeah. I could swear the whole ship was standing almost straight up at its bow. It's a miracle we didn't capsize for real.
しかし、ネイビーと合わせても一個中隊ですか。
Right.
まあ、これ以上残ってたところで推進剤のストックも心もとないしね。今の状況じゃ大して使い道はなかったろうよ。
Right.
むしろ艦載ヘリが生きてるやね。あれも2機とも大破しちまったが、本来捜索や中継機の設置はあっちの方が向いてるんだよね。
Yeah, I'm guessing they're a lot more fuel efficient. Yeah, it's not even close. Hellos have extensive cruising range, which makes them far better suited than TSS for this kind of mission we're running. Too bad their choices are out of our hands. We've got to make do with what we have.
さて2人とも、今ちょっと話にも出たけどね。
Right, we're actually heading out today. Oh,
今後の任務についてざっくりと伝えておくよ。
okay.
これからは2機ずつのエレメントを3人で回していくことになる。
Yes, ma'am. Alright, well, let's talk. I don't know why I'm saying that. Well, that's a pretty obvious call. Makes things easier on all of us.
これが戦闘紹介だったりすれば3機編成で出ることもあるんだがね。当面は任務の内容と推進剤効率に鑑み2機分隊での運用を継続する。
I see. That makes sense.
了解。
任務は今触れた通り、中継機の設置による通信および探索可能範囲の拡大を継続。
It's better than nothing. Extending range communication is pretty much the most foundational part. We've proven through experience that there can be survivors out there. I mean, it's hard to try and see it as a waste. If we hadn't found Lilia, I could see upper up the chain people saying, why are we wasting our energy and propellant? But now we've got certifiable evidence that there could be survivors out there and that they might be nearby. And plus, the more we understand just the general area, the better in every conceivable way. Why does she look so shocked? The commander hasn't said anything noteworthy.
進出方角および設置座標については現在司令部で検討中。そろそろ方針転換がある頃とは言われてるね。
Gotcha. First time hearing about this. Guess it only makes sense. We've gone as far as we could with the current installation pattern. But a change in policy could mean more than merely installing relays in a different arrangement.
中継機は随時製造中。出撃についてはネイビーの連中ともローテを組んでるからタイミングは追って伝達する。平たく言えばいつ出られるかはメルの作業次第ってことさ。
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because she's the only one who's been making these things. Right. I recall she mentioned being hard at work on the relays at lunch. Sounds like somebody's heading out there tomorrow. Who knows if it'll be us, though. So what's your problem, Lilia? There it is again. It's like she's desperately stopping herself from saying something.
どうしたリリア？何かあるのかい？
Yeah.
いえ、
発言を許可する。言いたいことがあるなら言っときな。
Good. I like Daryl.
任務内容について愚信いたします。
よろしい。愚信を受け付ける。
ありがとうございます。
Oh, I clicked a little early. Sorry.
設置任務の進出方向について、私の漂着点を中心に範囲を拡大することは可能でしょうか？
I mean, she's not wrong. It's a decent idea. Gosh darn it, Lilia.
リリア、シェルベリ少尉、それは最初に説明したはずだぜ。
コリンズ少尉、貴様の発言を許可した覚えはない。
Yeah.
続けな。
What are you even thinking, Lilia? And that goes double for the commander. The JFK's resources are stretched thin as it is. You know that. Why are you even entertaining her idea?
補給艦シアトルからの救命艇はあの付近に他にも漂着している可能性があります。
I mean, come on, like I understand he's just like, why? We already said it's impossible, but like, you gotta try, right? You gotta shoot your shot. I mean, they were friends.
同じ海流の流れに乗ったと仮定した場合、漂着可能地点はそれほど遠くはないでしょう。
Are you serious? That's like 2 layers of unsubstantiated assumption. You want us to change our search policy based on that? Okay, Will, I get you're troubled here, but let me speak this clearly. Have you found anyone else? She's got at least a halfway point. You have no initial idea of where you should start searching, frankly. I don't see why they couldn't do this. I mean, maybe there's reasons I don't understand, and that's something that's very important about chain of command. Everything can be on need-to-know basis. The people on the front lines don't need to know everything, and it's kind of an understanding that, like, you aren't going to know everything, and thus there's got to be a level of trust there. But I kind of don't get why Will's so frustrated here. Like, I understand, I would say maybe he feels bad, like, maybe he's worried she's gonna get shot down, but he seems, like, angry. I'm not sure why. And that's not even taking into account how much of our resources that would waste either. Maybe that's it.
そう遠くはないなら救難信号は先日の中継機 E7 が拾ってくれる。それは説明したはずだよ。
前回設置したアンテナの圏外に漂着している可能性もあります。
We did say that those ranges were pretty minimal.
遠くはなかったんじゃないのかい？
Oh, so that's why the commander let her go on. Forcing Lilia to confront her assumptions head on is the only way to make her understand her ideas as full of holes. And it's working pretty darn well so far.
リリアの心情は理解できるけどね。私らに可能性を元にした広域捜索の余裕がないことは最初に伝えたつもりだよ。
And to be fair, Will, if you're assuming that she's just gonna remember every conversation she had that day, even as, like, invested she would be in the answer, she was, like, half unconscious and on the brink of, like, barely being alive, you know? I think you can't really assume she just would cling to that all.
前回設置位置よりさらに前進した地点への設置および設置の際に任務を阻害しない範囲での捜索を願いたいんです。
繰り返しになるけどね。あんたと同じ海流に乗ったと仮定するのなら前回設置した中継地点で拾えない可能性は低い。加えてあれから時間も経っている。
Don't envy her this job, though. Try to shut her down.
ですが ですが可能性はあります。私自身あのままでも数日は持ったはずですし、それに
she's saying they're still technically within the like they're running out of the time that their suits would be able to keep them alive if they were able to put them on, you know. So like if they're out there and they're still alive, they've got a ticking clock on being found or finding resources, or just there being no hope regardless. I can sympathize, Lilia. I really can, but it's about time you stop.
たとえ対象の死亡が確認できるだけだとしても、様々な情報の取得にもなるはずです。
Jeez, man. We barely have enough resources to keep ourselves alive. We can't just go and waste them looking for corpses.
全体の設置戦略に反してないのであれば、考慮していただきたいんです。お願いします。捜索を。
それは俺たちの考えることじゃないだろう。
F this. I can't stay quiet anymore.
ウィル？
海兵隊には任務があり、俺たちはそれをこなす。違うか？生きている人間からの救助要請があれば当然出るべきだ。万難を排してでもな。リリアを見つけた時もそうだった。推進剤の残量は怪しかったが、俺たちはお前を助けることをためらわなかった。でもな、それは生きた人間が救助を待ってる、そう判断する強い根拠があったからだ。
生きていようが死んでいようが相手は人間なのよ。その根拠を得る努力をすべきって言ってるの。
I get it. Oh man, I kind of get both sides. I think if I have to pick which side I'm on, it's probably Will's ultimately. I think he's a little testy about his whole approach here, but like he has the measure of the situation ultimately, I think, better. Lilia obviously has got to try because they're her shipmates, they're her squad mates, they're her friends, they're the people she's like been living and fighting and dying next to. Like, she has to at least try, and I totally like respect that and understand and could never hold that against her. I think Will and Daryl they understand, however, the trouble here, which is that while they are doing these missions as best they can and they sincerely hope to find survivors, they don't have the resources to be able to spend on genuine searches. Thus, they have to mitigate and they have to perform actions that are within the scope and range of their capabilities, the reasonable capabilities, and make sure that every mission that goes out maximizes the resources that they're expending in order to like accomplish a goal. And if they go searching, and if they put up relays along her plan, it probably takes a lot of fuel just to get out to that point. Extending beyond is probably very costly. And with no actual like legitimate indication or return, it's one thing if it was just like a waste of resources that could easily be restocked. You know, maybe then people would be a lot more gung-ho about doing this, right? Like if we knew we had supplies coming, we don't think we have any idea of what could be coming back. There could be nothing coming back. We could be out here for a lot longer. And so like, what are you supposed to do? The best you can to help make sure that those who are alive can stay alive. You put out the beacons and you hope. You hope for the best for those people, but you frankly can't ride on something more than just a gut feeling or a hope. You can't. Like, it's not reasonable. It's really cool and really emotionally like satisfying in stories when people like trust their gut instincts and it pays off. But that's not what reality's built around. Reality's built around like disappointments, failures, and harsh realities. And while this is a great story and it's a fictional story, Muv-Luv has always attempted in like its more serious, you know, alternate and unlimited timelines to help us as the reader understand the harshness of what choices really are. You know, it's not a frivolous rom-com. It's not a guaranteed happy ending. We just gotta do what we can.
捜索活動は俺たちの本来の任務じゃない。あくまで空いた手を海軍に貸してるだけだ。だいたいリリアが言ってるのは希望的観測でしかない当て感だぞ。 こに今生きてる奴のリソースを使うべきじゃない。
See, I don't get why he's getting so emotional here. Maybe because he's been pushed to his emotional limit. I think this whole situation is a lot harder on Will than he's willing to admit. And so he's kind of blowing up at Lilia because she's kind of giving voice to what he wishes he could do and what he wishes he could believe. But he's had to shout that voice down inside himself so much. He's kind of erupting, almost as a way to erupt back at himself. These are like the things he's telling himself to suppress his own hopes and like to belay his own fears. And so he's becoming emotionally invested in this answer because it's imperative that he be right. Because if he's wrong, it means undercutting everything he thinks he understands and the stuff that's holding him together in the crisis that they're facing. A very real human reaction. In fact, unfortunately, like you've ever heard the saying of like how when people are like aggressive against people who are transgender, who are homosexual, and there's like that undercurrent of bigotry that can become violent. A lot of times, the people who become violent and hyper aggressive against a certain like type of people often have an underlying personal like relationship with those types of feelings, one they're trying desperately to deny, and that violent and aggressive like response is very similar to what I described with Will. It's that internal monologue that keeps you from just shattering into down the pieces of the things you think are real and relevant. Unfortunately, and for Will, this case, I think he's got it right, though he's obviously reacting far more emotionally than he should be. We're stuck in the middle of the Pacific with no way to get in touch with civilization and a dwindling supply of propellant. Survival itself is the mission here. Why can't she understand something so simple? Because it's her family, Will. It's her family. Maybe not the legitimate biological family, but in a case of the military, I'm guessing that almost is more important in the, you know, like, who knows if she even has family? They could be all she's got. Of course she's gonna try. But I understand. And I definitely think that that technically this idea of hers is in the wrong.
それこそ、それは上が決めることでしょ。私やあなたが判断することじゃないわ。
そうだな。お前の考えることぐらい、上はとっくの昔に検討してるだろうさ。
だったら、そもそも私たちの出番は。
貴様ら!
I mean, I agree. Shut up. Done it now. Or maybe not. This might be what she had in mind from the start, letting us vent and stepping in when the argument's getting too heated.
上官の前で仲良くおしゃべりとは随分してるマリン子供だな。あ?
You've got I can't even respond to this. Will's going to mentally die.
前儀はパンツを脱いでお家でやんな。貴重な強化装備を汚すな豚どもめ。
Oh gosh. Yes, ma'am.
貴様らは運がいい。今日はちょうどフライトデッキが開放されている。
Uh-oh.
いい天気だ。気温も最高だな。
Oh, so she's gonna send them on a mission by themselves? Oh boy. Yep, they're gonna come back either having worked this out or wanting to kill each other.
デックスプリント20本。
Oh no, that's
腕
even
立て
worse.
200だ。少しは下の根も乾くだろうよ。その間、この件は私が預かろう。
隊長、
それは
まさか。
なまった体にはちょうどいいだろう。明日の任務に影響出すんじゃないよ。
Okay. Here we go. What is even the point of bringing it up? Lilia's proposal is pure conjecture. Not worth spending 2 seconds discussing this stuff. I give up. First Lilia, now the commander.
ウィルボー、ウォームアップじゃ足りないって面かい？
いえ、ご配慮ありがたく頂戴いたします。
I look forward to puking up all over the flight deck.
よろしい。では解散。ダイエットには絶好の日だよ。
Today's a good day to diet. What the heck is wrong? What was I thinking? I effed up 100%. Yeah, I know I might have overstepped my boundaries, but nothing I said was wrong. That's just what I was saying, Will, but you didn't do it right. We don't need to decide our missions, but that doesn't mean everyone will stop thinking and let the days pass by. All of us got a couple of ideas of how to run this place. But the point, at this point, everybody should know where our priorities lie, and that's keeping us alive.
遅くなると倍きつくなるしな。上はホットプレートもいいとこだ。
Anyway, we can't set everything aside for people who are most likely dead by now, even if they drifted ashore. That's suicidal. And it's not like she's got the moral high ground or anything. She talked about Leonard as if my partner amounted to nothing but a setting to be adjusted. I'll take care of everything, but there's nothing to discuss. Maybe she'll only agree to so Lilia won't have time to reconsider and come around. Maybe. That kind of makes sense. Lilia has been stubborn as a mule thus far, and she's not going to turn over a new leaf this late.
ウィル、ちょっと待って。
Now she's gearing up for round 2? Come on, do we have to do this again?
蒸し返すんならやめようぜ。さっきは俺も言い過ぎだよ。
そうじゃないの。共通認識のために必要なことを聞きたいの。
Okay.
共通認識？どういうことだ？
ちょっとこっち来て。
Okay. Just what's going on here?
なんだよ、こんなところで。
Taking us to a place where no one can overhear us? Figure that I have a 50-50 chance of getting stabbed or something.
警護任務。
あ？
ダリル隊長が言ってたわよね。この船のマリーンはもともと分遣隊で別任務についてたって。
Why is she bringing this up now?
そうだ。付け加えると過去形じゃない。任務は継続中だが仕事がない。
一体その任務って何？
Escort mission. And I don't think you can know anything else.
想像はできるわよ。マリーンがこの状況下、陸船付きで母艦に乗り込む。輸送任務よね。どうあってもインペリアルから持ち出したかったものかデータか。
That's
その辺にしとけよ。
それが捜索任務よりもどれだけ重要っていうわけ？
If it's what I think it is, yes.
リリア。
Of course. That's why she brought this up. Should have seen that coming.
データはいない。どこかに行けるわけでもない。この状況下で捜索と救助以外にどんな任務があるっていうわけ？
Oh no. You don't understand humans very well.
リリア・シェルベリ少尉。同じマリーンだろ。黙ってるんだから察しろよ。言えないんだよ。
どうしてよ。それこそ同じマリーンコアは同じ隊に配属されたのよ。
いいか。今から言うことがどうしても信じられないなら隊長に聞け。
Crap, she just opened an entirely different can of worms. Sure, her proposal earlier pissed me off. How selfish can someone get anyway? But I can't let my feelings influence the current conversation. Because if I do, things are bound to get really, really messy, and I'd like to avoid that at all costs.
でもな、多分隊長も俺と同じ答えしか返せない。俺はこんなことで隊の結束を崩したくない。
I don't have a choice in this situation. I have to come clean with her.
せめて、俺とお前の間に留めてくれ。
Seriously, I can feel my blood pressure rising already.
わかったから、言いなさいよ。
Frankly, this is the kind of sensitive topic. How am I going to explain this without coming across like a complete dick?
少尉は海軍の捜索任務協力の一環として隊に編入された。本来の命令が少尉に及ぶという確認は取れていない。
Right.
どういう意味よ。
Okay, clearances are a thing. We don't know if you can actually be cleared.
少尉のセキュリティクリアランスが俺たちには確認できない。隊長にも、多分艦長にもだ。
Security clearance. A status granted by the American government to select individuals, allowing them to access confidential information, be it military or civilian, depending on their clearance level. As long as we can't check Lilia's security clearance level, we can't share any details about our escort mission with her. Now, it sounds kind of odd, but if you're unfamiliar with the system, basically it's about vetting. Governments are always having to fight information wars with each other. Even allies tend to have to be able to keep secrets from one another. The greatest way of leaking information is through people. Like, you'd think it'd be data breaches, but data breaches, like, of truly secret information like truly important information that like everyone can agree like universally are important are going to be triple like super like locked behind stuff, and the most critical barriers of getting to that information will be in the hands of people because that's just safer. So the people are usually key to truly critical information. Security clearance is simply giving someone validation. Can they betray you? Of course. But there are indications and like influences and contacts and like everything else that can indicate whether or not somebody's likely to or even capable of sharing information. And they look into that. I think it's very important. It's very, very important. In fact, I think it's one of the biggest things is because government positions, from what I've heard, actually really would prefer to give security clearance to people who don't drink, because people who can drink can have their inhibitions lessened and can mean they can accidentally share too much information a lot more easily. That's not something that's a barrier per se, but it's something they actually keep an eye on, and they help make and like and if I understand correctly, like there's a point where you have some like information that's so particular, they'll actually instruct you to not consume alcohol unless you are with another person who's sober, who like can keep you in check. And like again, these like I don't know, I really don't know because I've never been in a position to actually like be given security clearance and such, but this is my understanding of it. I'd love it if anyone could give clarification without giving too much away, obviously. It'd be interesting to know like what security clearance like markers people look for, like what are the things that prevent people from getting security clearance. I don't know, but it's interesting. Any Marine Corps surface pilot should have necessary clearance level by default. That's how it usually works, at least.
この状況じゃ本国の兵員データベースにアクセスできない。強化装備にその手の情報は入ってない。そして少尉は仮国籍保有者の可能性がある。
The one exception to the rule applies to Marine Corps pilots who hold provisional citizenship to people in Lilia's situation.
気づいてたのね。
勘違いするなよ。俺自身はどうこう思っちゃいないし、本来隠すことですらない。クリーンアメリカンスなんて興味もない。
あら、ありがとうって言うべきかしら。
や
めてくれよ。それを言ったらメルだって難民2世だ。
This is why I wanted to avoid this conversation. I'm a natural-born citizen of the United States, trying to explain our situation to the daughter of a refugee. Anything I say will sound incredibly condescending. I mean, yeah, that's one of those things just like, how do you explain that in a way that's like not condescending? I don't know.
俺はマリーンで、リリアもマリーン。我らマリーン。それ以外の何者でもない。
Now, interesting, the translation, he said Marine 3 times. It makes it sound like you're a Marine, I'm a Marine, we are Marines, maybe. Like, I don't know for sure, but I wonder if that's more of what he said there. Hopefully she drops it now. As a fellow Marine, this should be enough to make her understand. Besides, this is no mere lip service, it's how I feel from the bottom of my heart.
ごめんなさい。そこは素直に謝るわ。
助かる。
Phew. Here I was thinking, hey, we've got ourselves a new squad mate. I'm sure things will get better from now on. Just where did we go wrong?
ただ、一応これも言っておくけど。
Might as well use this as a chance to let her know about where we stand.
何？
隊長が言ってた need to know ってのは本当なんだ。俺たちも正確なところは知らされてない。
そう。
それを知ってるのは、警護任務がリリアに及ぶか判断できる人間は一人しかいない。
And he's not around.
え？
そういや隊長も説明してなかったな。ビッグマムにも抜かりはあるってことか。
どういうこと？
歩兵小隊側の長。この海兵分遣隊の指揮官だよ。
あ、そういえば。
直接聞きに行くって手もなくはない。俺にはそんな特技はないけどな。
Not sure what came over me, to be honest. I usually don't like to beat around the bush. But she's been such a massive pain in the butt, I can't help but take a cheap shot.
特技？よくわかんないけど、とにかく行けるものなら行くわよ。それでどうにかなるなら。
レベル 4、C28 ブロック。
レベル 4、C28 ブロック。
Morgue.
死体安置室さ。まだ生きてる指揮官代理じゃ、そんな権限はないだろうし。行ってくるか。
That kind of is a low blow, Will. Gotta say, not a fan. Twisting the F out of that knife. Man, I'm a butthole. Yes, you are!
ごめんなさい。もう忘れて。
How did it all come to this? Like oil and water. After yesterday's debacle, we went our separate ways. We haven't talked once since then. We couldn't, even if we tried. Lilia was avoiding me in the mess hall in the morning and made no effort to hide it. That should have pissed me off, but actually it was kind of a relief. I don't like this. We're clearly not on speaking terms. That's how bad things are. I have no idea we're supposed to work together like this. Oh boy. Well, since we're sorting, that's not the right word. It's not soitering. It's come on. Sortying. Sortie. Because a sortie is going out on flight. Sortying. Full. Since we're sortying today, I guess I'm about to find out.
それに先立ち、まず昨日決定した今後の基本方針を説明する。
Okay. Right, she did say the change of policy was in the works.
JFK 司令部はこれ以降、北東沿岸方面への中継機設置を進め、通信可能範囲を拡大していく方針を決定した。
Since that's the direction we want to be heading, it does make sense. What? No way.
これに伴い、陸地続きと思われる東方面および南南西方面への展開は打ち切り、北東沿岸方面に全ての戦術機派遣を集中させることになる。
I'm guessing it's not really to listen to Lilia, though maybe that's like a treat thrown in kind of a thing. I'm thinking, like I said, they want to be moving towards Hawaii. It makes sense. They're also waiting for people to maybe come back from there. So it just makes a lot of sense once you've established a general perimeter, just to, in case somebody happens to fly around, that you can keep it like almost like a tendril reaching out towards where you expect people to come from.
それはつまり。
リリア、喜びな。お前さんの要望だけが理由ってわけでもないんだが。はい、
ありがとうございます。
私に感謝する必要はないさ。あくまで司令部が通信可能権を延伸すべき方位と判断したってことさ。
To the northeast coast? Meaning HQ decided to extend our coverage towards Hawaii.
それでも感謝したいんです。
説明を続けるよ。今後は中継機を放射状に展開するのをやめ、さらには海岸線沿いに補給コンテナを運搬、補給拠点として設置していく。
Okay, that'll allow for longer flights and longer range.
デポ方式ですか?
Some things are bound to change with a new policy. That's pretty much how it usually goes. But this, man, we're practically wiping the slate clean.
そうだ。最初の拠点に一定量の推進剤を溜め込んだら、それを元手に次の拠点を設置。
Are we gonna start a kind of like limping caravan, perhaps?
あとはその繰り返しで、ハワイ方面への捜索範囲を伸ばしていくって寸法さ。登山や極地踏破と同じ要領だね。
Gotcha. I mean, I doubt we have the resources to do that, but at least it's something, right? Because at the if worst comes to worst, like we could try and like ferry people or even like walk if we really had to.
隊長、よろしいでしょうか?
I assume the higher ups know what they're doing, but something has been nagging at me.
おお、知った学習したね。よろしい。発言を許可する。
以前の方針説明によれば、艦内に残された推進剤と補給コンテナでハワイに到達することは不可能だったはずですが。
When it comes to water and electricity, we can manage somehow. One of the perks of having our very own nuclear reactor. We also have enough food to last us for a couple months, and enough salt to last us a lifetime. Yeah, none of that matters if we run out of propellant halfway through, and from what HQ told us some time ago, we don't have enough to set up a supply relays along the way.
その前提に変更はないよ。 急に推進剤が海から湧いてきたわけじゃない。
I mean, maybe eventually.
だが何もハワイまで機体がたどり着く必要はないだろう。要は更新可能圏まで到達できればいいのさ。
Mm-hmm.
それはそうですか。
ウィルの懸念はわかるよ。この方式口で言うのは簡単だけどね。毎度余計な積載量を抱え、普段以上に推進剤を消耗しながら推進剤を運ぶんだ。後戻りの効かない作戦さ。
And if we just keep sitting here twiddling our thumbs, it's not... I feel like it's more of a risk to just wait. We need to be proactive.
もちろん進出可能距離や推進剤の必要量は計算してるけどね。この辺は気象条件にも左右されるから絶対とは言えない。
Right.
途中で戦術機が事故りでもすりゃいろんな計算がおじゃんになる。
That's right. We'll have to blow through our fuel just so we can store propellant further ahead. The whole thing's incredibly risky. To make matters worse, we'll need to use propellant to set up a relay station, then go back to base. Every time we establish a station further ahead, the round trip ends up eating exceptionally more fuel.
それにもしハワイ側が全く更新可能圏を拡大していない場合、
But what else are we gonna do?
さっきも言った通りさ、最良の条件で見積もっても私らがハワイにたどり着くことはない。
I doubt the beach is really there anymore.
賭けですね。
This plan means more than merely failing or succeeding with the task at hand. In case we fail, we'll run out of propellant. Completely. Should that happen, it would narrow our range of choices considerably.
このまま自利品よりはマシってのが上での一致した考えさ。ここでアラマを決め込むってわけにもいかないからね。
Yeah, we're not in a holdout. We're effectively at a siege of our own making from nature.
了解です。
We're not in a good spot, clearly, but we still have plenty of supplies to last on the ship. That should give us some leeway. Morale's a different story, though. We're still in high spirits, but if we're stuck here with no change in sight, that's not gonna remain the case for long. I can understand why the upper brass came up with this plan. The problem is, no plan survives first contact with the enemy.
隊長、私からもよろしいでしょうか。
二人ともいい具合に汗をかいたみたいだね。許可する。
My question would be, why don't we use a boat? Like, we have them. Granted, like, fuel's still an issue, but wouldn't a boat be more, like, efficient?
この作戦における捜索活動方針はどのようなものでしょうか。
Jeez, Lilia.
ハワイの規模から言えば少なからず兵力が残っている可能性があります。それにブルーオーシャン作戦で生き残った船は
Well, just let it go.
JFK や私の乗っていたシアトルと同様、ハワイもしくはグアムを目指していたはずです。沿岸を進む場合、途上においても漂着者が存在する可能性は低くないものと思われます。
And how would she know that exactly? Did she get a hold of some new data I'm not aware of? It's not our job to determine how the operation should proceed.
この計画、フライングブーム作戦においては周辺の捜索活動を行う予定はない。
Flying boom. You need to, it's okay, I guess.
そんな
Of course. The operation will require a massive amount of propellant as it is. Even in the best case scenario, we'll be cutting it very close. And Lilia wants to add search parties on top? She's out of her mind.
申し上げます。捜索は行うべきです。我々は。
リリア、ちょいと待ちな。
Yeah, again, she's in the wrong. She's like, Lilia, you can't make demands.
言わせてください。注意。
シェルベル少尉、そこまでだと言ってるんだ。昨日の話を繰り返すだけなら、私らもよくわかってる。それ以上口を開く必要はないよ。
That's right. There's no need to say anything. No one wants to leave their comrade in arms for dead.
注意。
我々の任務は中継機の設置、補給物資の蓄積であり、漂流者の捜索ではない。
Right.
ですが。
We're over 2,200 kilometers away from Hawaii. Heck, no one even knows if Hawaii is still a thing. Lilia basically barely sees what's out there. I don't think she realizes just how grim her prospects are.
リリア、 ブルーオーシャン発動からすでに3ヶ月以上が経ってるんだよ。わかってるだろ。あんたのようなケースは極めて稀だってことがさ。
Yeah, that's the one thing she should understand.
一定規模以上の艦艇でなければ生存は難しい。逆にそのような船であれば、この作戦を進めるうちに自然と見つかるだろう。単独の漂流者という時点で、そもそも生存の可能性はほとんどないのさ。
Right. That we found Lilia alive, despite her being stranded on a lifeboat, was a miracle in itself. But we can't make plans based on the premise that another miracle will happen.
この広大な海域に漂流したごく少数の人間をわずかな戦術機で捜索することはできない。それが結論だ。
しかし、たとえ死亡者であっても。
I can sympathize, dude. I really can, but please don't make things any worse.
だがね、毎度最大進出地点で高度を取れば、戦術機からの見通し距離は格段に上がる。
Huh?
電波にしろ、漂流物にしろ、何かを拾える可能性は高い。
Compromise solution, huh?
そういうことさ。いいかい、ウィル。
高度を取ればその分推進剤を食いますよ。その積み重ねがあと一歩のところで推進剤が枯渇する結果を招くことになるかもしれない。
ウィル、それはそうだけど。
たく素直じゃないね。それとも何かい？よっぽど昨日の甲板掃除が気に入ったのかい？
あ、いえ。
仕方ない。言ってやらなきゃいけないようだね。
Hey, whoa, no, whoa, whoa!
ウィルバート・ディ・コリンズ少尉。
Huh?
補給拠点構築に影響がない限り、センサー類への注意を怠るな。副将。
Okay.
了解。補給拠点構築に影響がない限りセンサー類の確認を厳にします。
Maybe this is for the best. I still think it's a waste of propellant, but if Lilia's happy, I'm happy. Way better than being at each other's throats right before a mission, that's for darn sure.
いいだろう。任務を遂行せよ。
Right.
はっ、センパーファイ。
めんどくさい男だな、ウィルボーは。
Hey, it's what he's good at.
申し訳ありません。
It's
性分ですので。
in my nature.
さて、これで異論はないようだね。フライングブーム作戦はすでに発動済みだ。早速本日、貴様ら二人には出撃してもらう。
Alright.
今日のリードはコリンズ少尉とする。
はっ、受けたまわります。
Lilia may have more actual combat experience, but unlike me, she's logged 0 flight hours in the salt dunes. This way, I can also rein in Lilia if, heck, maybe once she starts acting too reckless.
今回はまだ物資の運搬は行わず、まずは前回と同じく中継機の設置を担当してもらう。
Okay.
メルも徹夜で協力してくれたからね。無駄にするんじゃないよ。
了解。
Alright. Well.
ナイブス3よりナイブス2。対地光学映像記録完了。GPS 照合開始します。
ナイブス2了解。そろそろ設置ポイントだ。高度を下げるぞ。
She's gonna say, smooth ride so far. Then again, there's just one installation point with this mission. We could head straight back to JFK without any problem if we wanted to. We're using the same heading as when we found Lilia, but the flight path plan's different this time. Since our priority is covering as much ground as we can, we'll take a shortcut and fly straight inland, skipping past the parts of the coastline already surveyed. So are they even listening to me?
ナイブス2よりナイブス3。まもなく中継機設置ポイントだ。高度を下げろ。
Are you serious? What does she think is gonna happen if someone checks the logs? Crap, maybe the thought hasn't even crossed her mind. Good chance they didn't bother checking the logs on the front lines.
リリア、聞こえてるだろ。高度を下げてくれ。
ナイブス3よりナイブス2。よく聞こえない。再度送信願う。
そろそろうちの隊の伝統だな。性能のいい通信機は。
I can sympathize with Lilia, but she could be aware. But she has to be aware she could be disciplined for taking independent action. That happens, and she's going to be put in solitary for sure. Man, she's a real pain. But she's a pain, and she's our pain, I guess.
Lilia, これからも長いんだ。頼む。
分かってる。ナイブス3了解。降下します。
Okay, back to work. The terrain seems fine. Let's set up a relay somewhere around here. We covered a lot more ground than last time.
ナイブス3、この辺りで設置する。
了解。
中継機を下ろす。ナイブス3、サポート位置。
了解。位置につきました。
It's kind of I don't know why it was so creepy to see it turn to look at me, but it was a little bit. Lily's probably following orders. I almost can't believe it. I better keep my expectations in check, though. She's only listening now because installing these antennae is key to finding any survivors around here. Is that them pounding it in, like, with their
スパ
fists?
イク打ち込み確認。固定完了しました。
ナイブス2了解。アンテナ慎重。システムチェック開始せよ。
了解。アンテナ展開開始。システム起動します。
Can't help but feel like I'm on a pins and needles every time we do this. That goes doubly for today, knowing how much better it would make Lilia feel if we got a signal here.
起動完了しました。中継開始します。
Come on. It'd be really nice if we heard something.
了解。こちらでも起動を確認した。
Full band scan complete, and we got nothing.
そうそううまくはいかないか。内部2よりソルティベース。中継機 E12 の設置を完了。繰り返す。中継機 E12 の設置を完了した。
ソルティベースより内部2。感度良好。E12 中継機の発信を確認した。
内部2了解。設置任務完了。これより起動する。
ソルティベース了解。セーフリターン。
No distress signals this time. Maybe it's luck that makes all the difference. Commander Darrell should have tagged along instead of me. I know this is how it usually goes, but now that we actually found someone during our last relay run, I can't help but get my hopes up.
そんな。でも。
リリア、気を落とすなよ。
By the sounds of it, her squad mates didn't make it.
そろそろホームに帰ろう。
Finding Lilia alive was a miracle come true. We can't expect lightning to strike twice. Let's go back to the carrier. She could use some space.
待って。
Oh no.
もう少しだけ時間をちょうだい。
To do what, Lieutenant?
少しの時間だけでいいの。信号を拾えないか、コードを取って確認したいの。
Go for it. I would give up. But that's the thing. I'm not a Marine. That'd be terrible to be a Marine, so. Great. I'm gonna have to be the bad guy again.
無茶言うなよ。すでに進出可能距離の限界も近いんだぞ。フライングブーム作戦が始まってるんだ。稼働機体が少ない今、ここでいきなり計画を頓挫させる気か。
ビンゴフィエルの計算はさっきからずっとしてたの。大丈夫。ヘマはしないわ。
So that's why she was dead silent all the way here.
お願いビル。相手の出力が弱ってるのかもしれない。コードを取れば光学スキャンだってできる。
She's not wrong. TSS altitude directly corresponds with our scanning range. The higher we are, the further we can reach. Besides, our optical scans are configured to automatically mark any artificial targets in range. The system was set up that way because it was originally used to detect beta. Once Mel was done tinkering with it, we could also identify man-made objects through their distinctive colors and shapes.
お願いビル。少しでいい。ほんの少しだけだから。
Well, just give her this. I think it's a minimal risk.
生きていようが死んでいようが、相手は人間なのよ。その子。
They're still human. The very least we can do is make an effort. Jeez, I didn't think it was possible, but she might even be a bigger trouble for me than Big Mama.
ナイブスリード了解。ビッグマムのご命令でもあるしな。
That's cute.
ビル。
ナイブス3、残量計算結果を俺の方にも転送してくれ。 帳簿のごまかしはなしだぜ。
ナイブス3了解。直ちに転送します。
まったく、何かあったら注意にどやされるのは俺なんだからな。
ナイブス3よりナイブス2。その時は全力でカバーするわ。
That doesn't mean much, but I appreciate it. Sounding more upbeat already.
ナイブス3よりナイブス2。推進剤残量マークしました。気筒限界点まで上昇して受信域を拡大します。
ナイブス2よりナイブス3了解した。
Lilia's calculations are precise. In fact, her estimate on how much fuel we need to RTB is on the conservative side. These sorts of calculations are no child's play. You wouldn't run the numbers unless you intended to rely on them. Lilia, dude, you're way too high up there.
ナイブス3、無理はするなよ。生存者を発見しても、そこまで進出できなきゃ意味がない。そこもちゃんと計算に入れとけよ。
計算はしてるから大丈夫よ。心配しないで。
She's not gonna listen, huh? Imagine my shock. Well, not like anyone ever listens to me. Man, misfortune must be sticking to me like glue. Am I cursed to be around bull-headed women for the rest of my life? I'm probably gonna marry one.
ほどほどに頼むぜ。
He was terrible. Searching for survivors from the vantage point is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I just don't get why she's so dead set on search and rescue right now. Finding someone would be a miracle. She should know this too. It isn't worth the cost-benefit perspective. It's simply too risky and not nearly likely enough to justify the expense. Maybe there's someone in particular she's looking for? Nah, I very much doubt that. Lilia didn't strike me as the type to put her personal interest first.
ナイブス3上昇します。
What did she just say?
ナイブス2よりナイブス3、もう一度。
What? Where did she go? Gosh, a rocket mortar? Seriously? What the heck is she thinking? Oh my gosh, she's using her weapons to give her thrust? Dang.
バカやめろ。あれなくなったらどうするつもりだ。
How is she planning to go? This isn't reckless, it's nuts! She's the one who ran the numbers in the first place, for God's sake. Hold on. That's just it.
確かにそりゃそうだが。
It's not like there would be any need to fire up the rocket motors anytime soon, not without any beta around. So if you're trying to keep propellant consumption down, rocket fuel is just the thing you need to gain altitude.
ナイブス3、リリア。
Why is she so adamant about this? Doesn't matter if she saves a little propellant. If she winds up crashing, she's going up way too fast. She's putting her own life at risk.
まだまだ。
ビッグバム2号。帰りは俺に運んでもらうつもりか。
ナイブス3予定高度に到達。全周光学スキャン開始します。
リリア、お前。
As per calculations, she's been planning to disobey my orders and fly this high from the get-go? At least she ran the numbers first, so she should have enough fuel to RTB after her little stunt, but come on!
こちら US マリーン第318戦術歩行戦闘機体ブラックナイブス。聞こえていたら応答願います。お願い、誰か答えて、お願い。
Why are you so desperate? Did something happen?
ナイブス3よりナイブス 2。
What?
これは
No way.
転送したわ。11時方向に蛍光塗料の散布を確認。救命艇よ。
Fluorescent paint. A man-made object. Survivors must be nearby.
どうかよ。なんて引きの強さだ。
Yeah, the second coming of Big Mama, alright.
ナイブス3直接確認します。
Hang on, wait for me! I haven't even called it yet, you stupid fool. Gosh darn, that's cowboy crap again.
ナイブス2よりソルティベース。方角にて座礁した救命艇を発見。救難信号の発信は確認できず。進出可能圏内につき直接確認の許可を願う。
ソルティベースよりナイブス2了解した。光学データを転送せよ。また許可あるまで待機。
ナイブス2了解。転送開始する。
Dang it, Lilia, you're supposed to wait till they give us okay.
ソルティベースよりナイブス2データ受領完了。許可あるまで待機せよ。
了解。
Power dive in the middle of a search mission? What the heck is she thinking? The rhetorical question. She isn't thinking at all because she's dead if she runs out of propellant over this little stunt. Come on, give me the word. I won't be able to catch up with her at this rate.
ソルティベースよりナイブスリード。ナイブス両機による直接
Go!
繰り返す。ナイブス両機。
了解。 リリア
She barely managed to catch up.
報告しろ。状況は。
Good goodness, she's not wiping her butt. The standard TSF tactic. This is not how the element is supposed to act.
リリアどうだ生存者は。
Please, one survivor, that's all I ask.
待って。
Huh? What's with the smell?
一度呼吸を落ち着けて
Oh.
覚悟してから見た方がいいわ。
Oh no. I think I know what we're gonna find here.
ってことは。
乗員2名を発見。2人とも死んでるわ。
Right.
もう岩礁に衝突したのね。ボートも潰れてるし、通信機も見当たらない。
They must have hit it like, oh
多
man.
分衝突した時に
Fetch.
2人とも。
Fetch. Didn't make it in time. All this was for nothing.
ボートに引っかかってただけマシだけど、ひどい姿だわ。
You can say that again. It would be a pretty sight in any case, but the bodies are decomposing even faster than the heat and salt water. Hard to tell how many days it's been. I've seen corpses before. It's just that usually it's far less nauseating experience.
どうするつもりだ。しかし連れ帰るにしても結構厳しいな。
We went to all this trouble to find them. Least we could do is bring them back to JFK and eventually back to their homelands. We could try storing the corpses in body bags, but they might fall apart along the way. That's probably pretty much a given.
そんなの必要ない。
必要ない。おい、せっかく発見できたのにいいのか。確かにこの状態だとかなり難しいが。
She was so gung-ho up until a moment ago.
いいのよ。彼女らがここにいた事実が持ち帰れるのなら。
The data. The suit data. What is she even talking about? The dog tags?
フェデリカ・ベクレル少尉、ジャンヌ・デュカス少尉。
知り合いか。
同じ船にいたけど、直接の知り合いではないわ。
そうか。
Doesn't change anything as far as I'm concerned. These two are her comrades. Lilia's comrades. And ours. What's she doing now?
GPS 座標をマークしたわ。
A virtual grave mark. There's no homing beacon, but they'll have the coordinates on record. Is that the best we can do?
彼女らは、このまま眠らせてあげましょう。本当は埋葬してあげたいけど。
Do we have flight suits that we could get data from?
こんな場所に埋葬するのもかわいそうだろう。連れ帰れないならどっちにしても同じだけどさ。
These two were American soldiers. If it were up to me, I'd take them back to the United States and give them a military burial with full honors. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to retrieve their bodies down the road. They might be the only bones left to bury, but that's still better than nothing.
なら戻りましょう。これ以上ここにいる意味はない。
なあ、そうかもな。
はい、これ。
They're dog tags. Two small pieces of metal that easily fit in the palm of your hand. The only proof that these two were alive once.
ごめん。報告お願いしていいかしら。
Yeah.
ああ、もともと俺の役目だからな。
Can't imagine how badly she must be hurting now. Thought for sure she'd insist on bringing the bodies back with us.
内部2よりソルティベース。救命艇内部を確認した。生存者なし。2名分の遺体を発見。識別表より死亡者生命確認。フェデリカ・ベクレル少尉、ジャンヌ・デュカス少尉。シェレベリ少尉の情報によれば USS シアトル乗員の模様。腐敗が進行しているため遺体の持ち帰りは困難と判断する。識別表のみを持ち帰りたい。
Two dog tags. That's all we got. I know there's nothing that we can do here, but I still feel so empty inside. Should we, I don't know, throw a blanket over the bodies at least?
ソルティベースより内部2。遭難者2名死亡了解。詳細は帰投後に報告せよ。
内部2了解。これより帰投する。
Damn.
内部2よりソルティベースホライゾナルクルーズに移行した。 ETA ヒトロック202。
ソルティベース了解。 気を落とすなよ。
The last part was a nice touch, but I'm not the one having a hard time here. I don't know, Will. I think you are. Dang it all!
ナイブ3。リリア、少しいいか。
何？
その、俺、謝らないと。
何を？
結果論ではあるけど、リリアから他の救命艇の可能性を聞いてたんだから。もっと早く救助活動を起こしておくべきだった。そうすれば。
Different? How so? Man, that's such a hypocritical thing to say.
可能性の話で貴重な戦術機は動かせない。ウィルも隊長も言ってたでしょ。
We did say that, yes.
船の状況から総合的に考えればその判断は間違ってなかったもの。
でも助けられなかったのが事実だ。
So in hindsight, it was an error in judgment on our part. We should have at least made an effort.
二人の状態見たでしょ。私が発見されてから今日で4日目。でもその時点で多分もう。
それも可能性の話だろ。
ほとんど確実な話よ。多分4日前に捜索を始めてても結果は同じだったわ。
Still. These corpses have been there for days. Lia's right. There's no way they could have found them in time. However, something tells me there's more she wants to say. She's holding back because of how Commander and I just treated her before.
それでも可能性を潰したのは俺たちだ。
I have no excuses.
結局無駄足踏ませることになっちまった。
それは違うわウィル。絶対に違う。
Huh?
何が違うって言うんだ。
無駄足じゃないの。無駄じゃなかったのよ。
It was a proof of concept.
ああして2人を見つけられた。そこに意味があった。
What are you talking about?
何の意味。死んでたんだぞ。間に合わなかったんだ。結局助けられなかったんだぞ。
They were dead, already dead. How exactly does that qualify as making all the difference? Lilia's insane antics could have gotten her injured, or worse. We squandered precious resources, and we could have afforded to waste, and for what? For nothing.
そういう話じゃないの。
じゃあどういう話なんだ。俺たちの判断ミスが生存者発見の可能性をなくしたんだ。
だから可能性の話をしても仕方ないってことじゃない。
可能性を気にしてたのはリリアじゃなかったのか。
Why is she acting all cold now? She almost broke down in tears when she told us her crewmates might still be alive somewhere out there.
あの二人が生きている間に助けられなかった。それ以外に何か意味のある現実があるのか。
あるわ。
Hmm? Come to think of it.
たとえ対象の死亡が確認できるだけだとしても様々な情報の取得にもなるはずです。
Is this what she means? Her crewmates are dead. We know that for sure. But what she's saying is what matters? The learning about their fate makes this whole thing worth it? No! It proves that the others might be nearby!
ま、昔の男のことは忘れさせてあげますよ。ぶっつけ本番でね。
Pieces of information. That all her fallen comrades mean to her. They're just pieces of information.
確かにこんな状況だ。何でもいいから状況を知るための情報に飢えてるってのはわかる。だからって死んだ奴を発見して意味があるわけが。
違う。それは。
Let her talk, dang it! I give up. Honestly, it's like we're having two separate conversations at this point.
違うの。そんなことを考えてたわけじゃないの。
確かに捜索を諦めちまったのは俺たちだ。お前がそれを責めたいってなら。
もうやめて。
Yeah, just be quiet, Will.
お願い。フィルと言い争いたくないの、今日は。
Okay.
わかった。
Alright. And we're back to the usual routine. Starting to feel like I'm stuck in an endless loop.
リリア、おはよ
Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. We'll save that for next time. Well, fetch, man. This got real. I mean, I knew it would, but dang. I really wonder where we're gonna go now. But, I mean, it's proof of concept there might be more lifeboats to discover, right? I mean, that's something. I feel like that's odd that Will didn't pick up on that at all. Like, sure, you weren't in time, and maybe if you find more, you still won't be on time, but isn't there more hope now than there was before? And you've also proof of concept, like the whole like flying up really high and actually being able to spot stuff with the big flat white plane. It does make it a lot easier. So maybe it's a tactic that could be taken up a lot more. I don't know. It's very depressing. I just don't think Will's thinking very clearly here. I don't think she's thinking clearly either, but it's like, okay, they're thinking clearly on different, like, in different points, but they're missing a whole bunch of other supplementary information or implication, it seems. Who knows, maybe it'll all be brought together here in the next little part. But I think we've definitely gone on for a while, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for being here today. It means so much to me that you're spending your time and leaving your comments and your likes and whatever you do that interacts with the channel in any way. It makes a huge difference. And a big shout out to all my patrons. You guys are amazing. Well, guys and girls, I don't know. You're all wonderful. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. No matter what you do or how you contribute to the channel, whether it be directly or indirectly, it means the world to me, and I'm grateful for it. And for the next coming months, I'm going to need every ounce of support I can get, so I appreciate it. So thank you for taking your time, for being there for me in the ways you are. I hope you're having a great end of your year. Hopefully there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to, and that we can do so together, and that we can kind of continue to share these stories. So until the next video, watching me up to see me in next. I'll see you there.